Greetings. Greetings, Earthlings, and everything else crawling around this planet. It's your boy, Rob the Ruler, on a session of Who Likes Sports? Who likes sports? If you do, then chime in. Right now, the NBA season is like, 11, 12 games underway. It's early right now. I really don't want to speak too much on everything that's too early. However, though, I just want to talk about Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart and everything that just happened past couple games. It's pretty concerning if you're a Celtic fan. If you're a Celtic fan, this is very concerning what the team is going through, because this was a team put together like 3-4 years ago with a bunch of young talent, and the Celtics have a lot of promise, and they've been having a lot of promise for a couple of years now. And to me, I feel like the hype of the Boston Celtics has been based off the potential they have to go somewhere, but they haven't been there yet. This team is still young enough to still have a window of the next like 3 years, 3 to 4 years of like title contention, or at least getting out the Eastern Conference. However, you gotta look at the East around you is getting better. The East around you is getting tougher, and it's getting back to how it was in like, the 90s a little bit, and a little bit of like the 2000s era where, the East was real tough and up for grabs. I still feel like the Western Conference is slightly better to a degree. However, it's the gap is closing in a little bit more than it has been over the past like 10 years. And my concern with the Boston Celtics is their defense and their shot selection, the shots they take, and their defense. One of my main concerns is Jason Tatum, because he's one of my favorite players in the league. I'm a fan of Jason Tatum. I've been watching him since Duke. And, I know talent when I see it. I know skill sets when I see it. Jason Tatum has an awesome skill set. I believe he's 6'9", 6'8", 6'9". If not that 6'10", he's in that range. He's a tall guy. A great swing man position. He could play the swing man, the two guard or the small forward. And he was going through some struggles this year, as well as the whole team. I still feel like the Boston Celtics need a better point guard. I don't feel like they have the right point guard to distribute the ball. I feel like Marcus Smart is better off the ball in like a defender type of role, like an off-the-ball defender, and get his shots in like cuts to the baskets and like, set shots, from three when he's open, through passing and moving the ball and spacing. But I think the Boston Celtics need a better point guard that's going to direct traffic and get people in certain spots. They don't have I don't believe they have a dictator on offense to like really facilitate and put people in their place on who should get the ball and when. Jason Tatum is like the most credited player on the team besides Jaylen Brown. And I don't think his shooting is good this year, based on what I'm seeing, because he's forcing a lot of shots. I looked at the game, he had against the Bulls when they blew that damn near 20-point lead. I think the Chicago Bulls went on a 39-11 run in the fourth quarter to come back from down like 20 at the end of the third. And, he had 20 points. He played 36 minutes, but at the end of the day, he took 22 attempts and only made 8 shots. That's not good. Only 8 shots out of 22. And then when you watch Jason Tatum, you watch Jaylen Brown, you got to look at the shots they take. A lot of shots they be taking be on double teams and like step back threes, and a lot of like, beyond the paint shooting. And I understand that the league has gotten to a point where it's like analytics, If it's not a three, then dunk it. If it's not a dunk, then a three. But the mid range do count. The mid range does help. 2 points is 2 points. No matter, what I'm saying, if you could get a three, you could get a three. But instead of like taking a whole lot of threes and missing them, that could be a couple mid range shots you could make that could accumulate to the points you need. And I feel like Jason Tatum has put too much pressure on himself to try to be like the next big star in the league. He is a star in the league, and he is a rising star. And I think he just needs to focus on his game and just take his time. I feel like he's rushing things. He's rushing shots. He rushing shots on double teams. He's taking a lot of step back threes, a lot of bad shots. And, I understand that, he grew up a Kobe fan. He idolized Kobe. I mean, who didn't? Growing up in, if you a 90s baby, of course you probably grew up idolizing cats like, Iverson, Kobe, Vince Carter, McGrady, hell, even Rip Hamilton and guys like that. Like, if you was really into the game back then, Rasheed Wallace, Tim Duncan, KG, Paul Pierce, we had a lot of great legends who put on for the game and really cemented itself in this game. And if if Jason Tatum wants to solidify himself in this game, he has to take better shots. He has to finish. He has to close. And I just don't like what I'm seeing so far. And it seems like he don't have no direction, nobody to pull his coat and tell him like, hey man, you messing up. You ain't playing defense correctly. You ain't taking the right shots. I saw it the first game of the season when they played the Knicks. Tatum was off. He was taking so many bad shots. And no matter if he had R.J. Barrett on him or Evan Fournier on him, he just took bad shots. He kept taking fadeaways and step backs and fadeaways and pulling up from three when Al Horford wasn't even under the basket. And I'm looking at it like, Tatum, you're bigger than these guys. You're taller than these guys. Your handles is decent. You got a decent handle on you. You could just get to the post. Work the mid-range. You got a good fade. You got a good, right shoulder fadeaway step back shot. He got a nice shot on him. He just got to use it smarter. And when you get tired down the stretch, you're going to want to make shots that's easier to make. Because all those hard shots on two people and your legs going to be gone by, shooting all those threes and long range shots. Your legs are going to be gone by the fourth quarter. And to see Tatum go in the fourth quarter and overtime, that first game of the season against the Knicks, 7 out of 30 attempts, that wasn't good. Jaylen Brown had to save the day and keep them in the game. If it wasn't for Jaylen Brown hitting like 43, 44 points, if he didn't go for 40 plus, they would have got blowed out. If Jaylen Brown didn't go for 40 plus, they would have got blowed out. Everybody who saw that game know that. And the same thing it was against the Bulls. They was up by 20. They gave that game up. And I saw something when I was watching the game that a lot of people wasn't really paying attention to. If they was paying attention, because they got a good basketball, eye test. But Marcus Smart can't guard everybody. I'm going to repeat that. Marcus Smart can't guard everybody on the perimeter. He can't be the only one playing defense. When I saw when they played the Bulls and they gave that lead up, DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine both took turns operating on Marcus Smart. He's a shorter guy. He's strong. He can play great D. But whenever like LaVine was cooking, especially when DeRozan was cooking, I didn't see Jaylen Brown or Tatum just step in and say, okay, look, I'm gonna put a stop to this guy. I'm the taller guy. I got quick feet. I can buy this shot. I'm gonna put a stop to this. We're in Boston. We have the lead. We're not gonna let them just come out here with a victory. They let it happen. They let the Chicago they let the Chicago Bulls come in and walk out there with a victory where they wasn't even in the game like that. I mean, they was in the game, but it was a chip in the way. But if you the Boston Celtics, you at home, you have a decent amount of size advantage to the Bulls. You have a decent amount of size. You're supposed to use that. And I feel like the Boston Celtics don't get enough out of the other players. And I also feel like the Boston Celtics outsmarted itself these past 3 years. They outsmarted itself because when they traded for Kyrie Irving, and this was like, 2017 going into the 2018 season. When they traded for Kyrie Irving, everyone thought that, it was going to work probably when they had Kyrie, Gordon Hayward, Al Horford back then, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. It was supposed to work. But when it didn't work, they blamed Kyrie. And they made Kyrie the scapegoat. Like, Kyrie, he just wants to hog the ball and play a street ball type of game, and he don't want to get everybody involved. So that's why the Celtics underachieve. Even though they had those injury riddled that 2018 season, which was like a magical year for them because Kyrie had got injured like midway through the season, and Terry Rozier turned it on, and him, Brown, and Tatum, kind of like, led the way to the Eastern Conference Finals where they blew it against LeBron and the Cavaliers. But then they move Kyrie for Kemba Walker, let Kyrie go to Brooklyn, and they wound up getting Kemba Walker, and they wound up going through the same thing because Kemba Walker was a better locker room guy. He was a better guy for the locker room than Kyrie because he's less outspoken as Kyrie, but his goal is to do similar to the stuff to Kyrie. He's like a slightly lesser version of Kyrie Irving. I'm not taking nothing from Kemba Walker. Been a Kemba Walker fan since he was at UConn. I've been watching Kemba Walker play. I saw more Kemba Walker games in college than Kyrie Irving, but just stating facts on what I see on the professional court, his goal was basically to do the same thing. He could have came in and facilitated more, but he was caught in between. Should he still play the style he played in Charlotte or adapt to the Celtic style? And not every point guard, could adapt to the Celtic style. When you play for the Boston Celtics, that's a tradition you got on your chest. When you play for the Boston Celtics, you have to put your last name last. The Celtics in front of your chest, that has to go first. When you put your last name above the Celtics, it's just not going to work because that's not how the franchise is ran. This is an old school franchise that runs it off teamwork, selflessness, defense, moving the ball, execution. And I feel like they need a better point guard. Dennis Schroeder, he's trying his best, to say he messed up his chances in L.A. Dennis Schroeder's trying his best. However, they could do better. They could get a little better point guard than that. See who they got on the market, who could fit the team style, fit the team chemistry. And in regards to Jason Tatum, he's have to show better. They was victorious against the Miami Heat the other night, but it was because of Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. Tatum was 3 for 13. He didn't do pretty good. What I like about Tatum, though, even though sometimes through bad shooting nights, he does have good rebounding nights, but he needs more of those. If your shot not falling down, I'm going to need Tatum to just get more rebounds and do other things, play more defense, control the pace without having to have the ball in your hand. I think a lot of players are missing that art of controlling the pace, controlling the structure of the game without having the ball. It's the little things that matter, the offensive rebounds, the help out with the big man, the putbacks, setting picks for your fellow teammate, moving the ball, not standing around when another player got the ball. Like if Jaylen Brown got the ball to perimeter, no matter if he on the left side or right side of the elbow, I don't need to see Tatum just stand around like, okay, he ain't give me the ball, so I'm just standing around, watch him dribble. No, everybody just need to move and cut. And Jaylen Brown, he sometimes he does the same thing Tatum does. Sometimes, like, it looks like they're in like in a competition to see who team is it for real. That's what it seems like. It seems like they be in competition to see who team it is. And, your turn, my turn. One night I go for 35, Jaylen Brown, and Tatum might have 24. Next night, Jaylen Brown might have 26. Tatum might have 42 or something like that. And it just go back and forth, taking high volume shots that's just like not executing right. And Al Horford be wide open. You could use him more. Robert Williams, he's a young up and coming center. They could get more out of him. They could get more out of Grant Williams. He has a nice pick and pop, like set shot from three. When nobody's on him, like wide open, he could hit certain threes. Grant Williams out of Tennessee. You got Langford off the bench. You have I believe his name is Aaron Nesmith, but his last name is Nesmith. You have Nesmith and Langford off the bench. They were the guys who brought the game in for the Celtics versus the Heat. The main two starters, Jaylen Brown and Tatum, they didn't really do nothing. It was the guys off the bench that showed up and made like better shots and made better percentage of shots. And on the other side, Miami Heat, they messed up because, Duncan Robinson, you took 17 shots. All 17 was three-pointers. You only made 5. It's all about the shots you take and the shots you don't take. And for the Boston Celtics going forward, they just got to find their identity again. They just have to reevaluate who they are as a team and see where they're going with this. If you're Coach Udoka and Brad Stevens up top, you just got to make sure everybody gets the shot, spread it out so everybody can get touches on the ball to keep the defense honest. If it's always two people getting shots, then, if you're on defense, you just play like, all right, cool, double Brown, double Tatum, double Brown, double Tatum. Or, make sure you pay attention to one of the other ones and let Tatum try to beat you by himself. Or stay locked up on Tatum and let Brown beat you by himself, because they're not going to give the ball to anybody else but each other. And that's a toxic environment in a locker room where you have players who only trust each other, and they have like a buddy relationship with the ball, while everybody else they just excluded. They just don't have no play, no say so in the X's and the O's of the things of the offense. And when you leave certain players out, they're not going to want to hustle for you. Defensive players like, Marcus Smart, hard-working players like Al Horford, Grant Williams, Robert Williams, those guys, they're going to want shots. They're going to want shots too. Hell, when I was young, even Ben Wallace wanted a couple touches. Certain guys who you consider like a goon or like, a real hard-working, like, defensive guy, the Theo Ratliffs of the world, guys like that, real hard-work guys, Dale Davises of the world, those type of guys growing up watching. They wouldn't mind getting a couple alley-oops, a couple lobs and putbacks and a couple, like, jump hook looks, It's always electrifying when you're able to put the ball in the hoop and know that, you count for something on the offensive end as well as the defensive end. And I've been hearing rumors that the Boston Celtics are, in rumors or probably talks maybe with the Washington Wizards for Bradley Beal. And I'm hearing on the flip side that Tatum might leave Boston and team up with Bradley Beal. I don't know how true that is. It's just a rumor flying around, floating around the air. I know the Boston Celtics are clinging on to superstars right now because they ain't had really a star tandem since KG and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and Rondo. With that big three, plus Rondo, they ain't had no superstar tandem like that since. And I know, Tatum's their guy. Tatum's their guy that they invested in for the future. However, if his play, if his play stays like this and he keeps shooting low percentage shots and not taking the right shots he's supposed to take down the stretch to get the game won for the team, then I wouldn't mind consider moving Jason Tatum for the flow of the team, because at one point, like, you gotta look at yourself like, okay, what are we as a franchise? Are we gonna go as far as this guy takes us, or are we gonna get guys that's gonna play within the system that we're running here, do what they're told, run the play, execute, get the job done, and go home? Because if I'm Brad Stevens, I'm the higher ups in Boston. You gotta come down there and tell Tatum and Brown, hey, look, y'all want to play cute and all that. I could trade y'all asses. You could trade Tatum to Washington for some great complimentary pieces, some draft picks probably. And you could trade Brown separately for the same thing. For two great complimentary pieces. Two really good role players that's gonna follow suit, and some draft picks if they get to be too expensive and not panning out. Because at the end of the day, if you run the franchise, it's all about, advancing while saving money. Keeping your future bright while saving money. And you'll never want to overpay guys that's going to, become prima donnas and not follow suit with the whole franchise idea, what the idea of the franchise was about. So, tonight, the Boston Celtics got the Dallas Mavericks. I'm looking forward to see Tatum versus Luka Doncic. And if Jason Tatum was to really make a statement tonight in a road game versus Dallas, I'd like to see him take a real good percentage of shots down around around the elbow, around the paint area, mid-range shots, and play some lockdown D for a change, and really bother Luka Doncic. Because size-wise and height, if you want to look at it, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are the ideal defenders for Luka Doncic. Marcus Smart could try because he has a lot of courage to guard anybody in the league. He'll try. He a pit bull. He got that dog in him. But I done seen Luka Doncic abuse plenty of players that got dog in them, but you just shorter than him. Because Luka Doncic the type of guy, any advantage you give him, he'll take it. You're slow, he's going to go by you. He's not that fast himself. But if you're slow, he's going to go by you. If you gamble and miss on a steal or passing lane, he's going to make you look bad and hit that three in your face. If you're shorter than him, he's going to take you in the mid-range and shoot a Dirk Nowitzki fade on you. That right shoulder fade with the leg up. That classic fade that Dirk Nowitzki got everybody doing. Dirk Kappa did for that. But, yeah, Jason Tatum got to play better. The whole Boston Celtics need to play better. Their reputation is on the line this year. And to me, I feel like this year is a make-or-break year for the Boston Celtics. If it doesn't work this year, they might have to blow this team up or make some real significant changes. If it doesn't work this year, you might have to blow the team up. There's no way they shouldn't be playing this bad. There's no way they should be playing this bad. And I feel like for the shots Tatum take, the fact that sometimes he be 8 for 22, 9 for 22, 10 for 32. If you take all those type of shots, and let's be real, honest, since he want to be like Kobe so much and prove that he could uplift Kobe legacy so much and keep Kobe legacy alive. If you want to keep Kobe legacy alive, take smarter shots. Analyze the right things Kobe did, because rest in peace to the Mamba. Kobe always had a lot of flack for being a ball hog and forcing shots and trying to prove that he was the hero, which he was. which he was. He proved it every time you thought he wasn't that guy, or you thought like nah, he just a ball hog and he forcing it, but he's no Michael Jordan. Yes, he's no Michael Jordan, but he was the closest thing on earth to it. Whenever you thought you could count Kobe out, Kobe always showed you better. And he always took smarter percentage of shots. You know, he took what the defense gave him. I don't think Jason Tatum was taking what the defense gave him. I feel like he's just forcing stuff. He's putting stuff in the air. And he's not making he's not executing. Sometimes it ain't about, looking the coolest when you on the court when you balling. It's about executing. It's about getting the job done. Did we get the W? And did I do what I was supposed to do? Did I do what I was supposed to do to lead the team? That's all that matters at this point for the Celtics, because the East is getting better around them, and if the Celtics keep playing like they playing, like up and down, like win a game, lose a game, they'll probably like how they beat Miami, and then they'll probably play a team, like the Orlando Magic probably, and have a hard time with those guys, or they might blow them out. It's too helter-skelter. It's too up and down. You don't know what you're going to get. You might lose by 5 to the Raptors, but then you might play the Suns and beat them by 3. And then if you play the goddamn Sixers, you might lose by 25 to them. I just need, right now, if you a Celtic fan, listen to this, you probably know what's going on already. The buzz around the campfire. And you just need the Celtics to be consistent. You just need the Celtics to be consistent and just keep a pattern going, be consistent. And I don't know what they're doing with Josh Richardson on the bench, off the bench, but I don't think they get enough out of him neither. And I will see about, trading him and see what type of trade value he has if I'm the Celtics, see what I could get from him. So, yeah, that's my take on the Boston Celtics and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown so far. I'm glad Marcus Smart called it out. I'm glad he got in their face and let them know, like, look, we got to see what direction we as a team and see where we going to go. Because if we just let this stay like this and let these debacles keep happening and losing leads and mental lapses on defense and not moving the ball, taking bad shots, them bad habits are going to prolong all the way into the mid of the season. And by the time you get the All-Star break, you're going to be so stuck in your ways, it's going to be too late. And then if you the upper management of the Boston Celtics, if you looking to make a move or make a trade, it's always good for the players that you're looking to trade to play good so they can have better trade value to get rid of them. I don't know who they're looking for to get rid of. However, I do feel like the Boston Celtics are they're walking the plank this year. This year is going to be an epic turn. It's going to be for the worst or the best. So I'm holler at y'all a little later. You know what I'm saying? It's Ryder Ruler. Who likes sports? If you do, chime in. Peace.